The rush is on. The administration said to be racing to release more Gitmo detainees before Congress votes on blocking those moves. Now, presidential candidate Marco Rubio says we should be rushing to put more bad guys in Gitmo, not rush them out. So who's got it right? Hi, everyone. I'm Brenda Butner. This is Bulls and Bears. Here they are, the Bulls and Bears this week. Gary B. Smith, Jonas Max Ferris, John Layfield, along with Hadley Heath and Chuck Rocha. Welcome to everybody. Okay, Gary B., you siding with Rubio or the White House on this?
Well, I got to side with Senator Rubio on this. Look, this is just, I hate to boil it down to math, but this is basic math because, you know, the White House makes the math argument, so let's look at the other side. They're saying, my God, Gitmo is too expensive. We need to close it down, release the prisoners. Gitmo costs $400 million a year to run. That is a large amount of money. 9/11 cost total $2 trillion. My God, you could keep Gitmo open for what is that, 50 years and still not make up for one 9/11. I mean, these are the deadliest criminals that we know of, Brenda. We need to keep them safe. There is no cost, however astronomical we think, that would not be worth it.
Okay, Chuck, so the White House is reportedly racing to release Gitmo detainees, and others say that's crazy and such a risk to America. What say you?
What I say is under George Bush, there was 500 people down there that he let loose, and 100 of which returned to kill our soldiers. Rubio, where was his outrage then?
No, but wait,
what
I don't want to
get at
politics.
this point.
Chuck, wait a minute. I don't want to talk politics. Yes, there are many people to blame. I'm just talking about right now, what do we do? The White House wants them out, and others, Congress wants to ban that. What do you think is right?
Let me pull Gary B on you and give you some numbers. There's 100 left. We're big boys here. Most of these people were pulled out of a cave, and I think you can put them in maximum security prisons in the U.S., and we can lock them up forever and close Gitmo, and you can accomplish both things. I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time.
I'm sorry. That's not on the table. Let me just go to John. We got to deal with, there's lots of options that many of you could come up with. And John, I probably would vote for you for president. But we can only talk about what's on the table. The White House wants them out to another country where they could go and get together with more terrorists, and Congress says no.
Well, Congress is right. Look, we're not talking about transferring these detainees. We're not talking about putting them in a supermax prison in Florence, Colorado. That is a complete separate issue. President Obama is just wanting to close the prison, and he's wanting to release all these detainees. This is a legacy issue for the president. And if you want to know how dangerous this is, Gary B. brought up how much 9/11 cost us. Think about this. In Camp Bucca in southern Iraq was when it was shut down and those prisoners were released. Those are the leaders of ISIS right now. Now, think about the billions of dollars spent globally right now fighting ISIS because those guys were turned back and put back into that system of terror. That is exactly what's going to happen now. Transferring these guys is not on the table. What is on the table here is either releasing them and letting them go back or keeping them where they are. Let them rot in jail.
Okay, Jonas, what do you think?
The rot in jail scenario is a privilege that U.S. citizens deserve. If you are such a threat to the that you need permanent incarceration for life, then you need to get in the line of the people in that prison that need to be killed so they really can't get out and do damage. The other people who aren't such a threat need to get out of there. But to stay in there forever doesn't make any sense. That's what we would do in the United States with people that do terrible things. We're not going to pay for these people to be in prison for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years at great cost. And anyway, even if we were, it's so risky because, yeah, maybe Rubio's the next president, but this isn't Russia. We're not going to have the same leader for 20 years. Someone down the road is going to release them, and we're back to square one. So why pay all that money and do it then? You got to kill people that are foreign combatants that are a threat, and the ones that aren't, you track, get information out of them, and release them. Those are the two choices with these people.
Okay, Hadley, what do you think?
We can't release these detainees right now. You look at the situation of the world, you consider what's going on in the Middle East, what's going on with ISIS. Now is the wrong time to be considering, especially rushing to release detainees who have been at Guantanamo Bay for some time. That said, I do hope that our leaders will address what's going on at Guantanamo Bay because it's not a sustainable situation and could be very well rights.
Okay, Chuck, now I want you to go ahead, talk. I'm sorry I interrupted you last time.
That's fine. Whether we like it or not, it's become a political football. By no means am I ever going to say, yes, we should turn terrorists loose so they could kill more of our people. Absolutely not. But you're right. There are things on the table that's never going to get past the president. But what we should do is make sure that America is safe and protected, whatever we have to do, but quit playing a political football. Whoever's in the White House saying, well, we can do this or we can do that, but let's see who the American people want to support then.
Yeah, but right now, Gary B., these are the options. You let those terrorists out where they can go to rejoin other terrorist groups. We've seen that before with people who have been released from Gitmo, or keep Gitmo open. That's it. We can talk about politics all day long, but this is serious. It's about lives.
No, you're right, Brenda. Look, Jonas pointed out a lot of scenarios down the road. Anything could happen. I will grant him that point. But we don't have the luxury of looking into the future and deciding what's best now. So to me, it is cut and dry. I can't figure out, quite honestly, whether it's numbers or whether it's ethics or whether it's moral or whether it's just dangerous society, why President Obama wants to release these people. And all I come back to is he's making it political. And his job as commander-in-chief is just the opposite. It's to look out for our welfare. To me, this is a slam dunk.
Okay, let me go to Chuck to get you to answer that. Why do you think the president is trying to race to release these?
I don't know exactly why. Obviously, I'm not a foreign relation expert, but there has to be. I'd like to think, in my common sense, that these are the last 100, and I think Gitmo is a slap in the face of who we stand for as Americans. People who try to attack us should be punished, but I still think we should shut down Gitmo, like it or not.
Okay, but that means, Jonas, that means sending terrorists out. Who knows where they're going to go, by the way? They can't go to Yemen because look at the hot mess that is.
And who knows if a drone's going to hit one of them. Like, I just don't understand why it's better to put someone in prison for life than kill them if they're so dangerous. This isn't America where they're going to fight it in court for billions of dollars. They're just going to get, they're foreign citizens. They're not really citizens. We can just decide they're a threat to America on the battlefield and kill them. We got the information out. I just don't get the permanent incarceration. As far as the political argument, why is this even in Cuba? It's not near the Middle East. The whole thing is political, so we can spite Castro and appeal to voters in Florida. It doesn't make any sense anyway that even if we wanted to permanently incarcerate foreign combatants, which is absurd from a taxpayer point of view, it doesn't make sense to have it in Cuba. Put it near the Middle East where they are. What are we sending them all back and forth to Cuba? It's ridiculous.
Well, Jonas is taking a pretty hard line. He says, kill him. You say, let him rot in jail.
Yeah, well, whatever gets them all off the battlefield. Look, Jonas has a point. We're not talking about closing Guantanamo Bay and transferring it. I am for closing Guantanamo Bay and putting them in a supermax prison or something else a lot cheaper. That is not on the table right here. But when you talk about prisons that are in the world, there's been 48 different documented black site prisons that are been used by the United States, 48 different countries that have used these prisons that have allowed us to house these terrorists. You think this is the only one in Guantanamo Bay? It's the only one we know about. So is it better that we put them in some black site prison in Poland or somewhere in the Middle East, or that we kill them with drones without a due process whatsoever? Look, Guantanamo Bay is not a recruiting tool, but if the option is to either let these guys go back to the battlefield or rot in jail, let them rot in jail till they die.
Okay, that's got to be the last word. Thanks, guys. And Cavuto on business in about 20 minutes from now. Hey, Neil, what do you got?
Hey, Brenda, shouldn't Iran prove we can trust them before we sign $50 billion over to them? And if paying for your own kids' college tuition isn't enough of a headache, get ready to pay for illegals, too. We'll see you soon.
Thanks, Neil. We can't wait. But up here first, did Hillary Clinton just say she wants to topple the rich? Why her wish could topple the economy instead.